Hey girl, are your healthy habits all over the place or non-existent? Do you wish you could find true food freedom, move your body for joy, and really just talk a little nicer to yourself? If you have tried to habit hack your health, but the strategies you've tried just haven't worked for you in your busy lifestyle, then this podcast is for you. Hey, I'm Emily Nichols, habit and fitness coach, behavior change specialist, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I am here to tell you there is an easier way than what we've been taught about our health and our habits. How do I know? Well, because I've transformed my own life through habit hacking, and now my family gets the best of me, and I now help my clients do the same. I'm now going to teach you how to create healthy habits in less time, guilt-free for all seasons of your life. It's not your fault your habits haven't worked, my friend. We just have to do them differently. So, are you ready to feel empowered and transform your habits and life? Then let's do this. You're listening to episode 196 of Self-Transformed. Hey friend, welcome back to the show. I hope you're having a lovely day. As you're hearing this, I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas, or Arkansas, as my youngest has been calling it, with my whole family, with my husband's whole side of the family. And I hope you are enjoying some much deserved time off too, if this is spring break time for you. So we're doing some outdoorsy things. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer. I think it's going to be warmer, crossing my fingers. So, hey, I want to remind you, please don't forget about the $5 money saving meal prep mini workshop this Wednesday, the 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern, live, or you can catch the replay. To sign up, go to bit.ly/money saving meal prep. You'll get the download. It's a weekly meal planner with a grocery list template and our freezer inventory, which I will tell you all about. We're going to learn how to habit hack grocery shopping, meal prepping, actually enjoying your food to create health and wealth for your health. That was a lot of words. And save money and time. Right? Save money and time when it comes to meal prep, fueling your body, fueling your soul, and finding your own version of food freedom. So make sure to join us. Like I said, if you can't join the live, you'll get the replay of it and have like lifetime access to it as well. Usually after I do these live $5 workshops, they are available in the shop at any time, but from there they'll be $17. So do it now. That way you save some money. So let's talk about today's episode. We are talking about how you can be strong and capable and how kettlebell training can help you build confidence. I love this conversation so much because a personal growth goal for myself this year has been to be more dedicated to strength training at home. I've written so many plans for other folks. I'm following my own strength training plan. I love it. And I did this interview with Colleen, I believe back in November, our guest today. I'll tell you about her here in just a sec. And I was just so inspired by her and just my personal drive to always want to try some type of fitness modality as a fitness coach since 2017. And since I had this conversation with Colleen and kettlebell and talking about kettlebell training, I have personally been doing 100 kettlebell swings in between upper and lower body sets, so like 200 total, and including taking the kettlebell around my waist, marching with the 25-pound kettlebell up above with my arm extended up, and it is transforming my body and my mind more than anything. I feel more strong and capable, and I'm slowly building confidence because of my strength and not because of a number on the scale, because trust and believe the scale was going up as I have been incorporating more weight training and upping my protein intake, which we talked about last week. If you didn't catch last week's habit hack, go listen back to what we talked about as far as how to build a perfect plate of food. Spoiler alert, it starts with protein, ladies. And I want this for you too. Right? You know, I've always done dumbbell workouts and I love incorporating kettlebell training. And I know you're going to love this fitness focused and mindset focused episode with my guest, Colleen Conlon. So let's talk about her. So Colleen is a virtual 6-figure fitness coach, published author, and a 2-time Guinness World Record Holder. That is so freaking cool. I love that. All of her pursuits have one thing in common. Kettlebells. Her mission is to help women overcome their self limiting beliefs by mastering hardstyle kettlebell technique. And this is not just about swinging weights around, my friend. I know for many of the ladies that I personally work with, confidence is such a mindset challenge. Ugh. And it's one of the challenges we actually address in the Mindset Habits Accelerator. It's always linked in the profile in the show notes for you. And this is just such a unique way talking about kettlebell training to prove how strong and capable you are from the inside out and just build confidence. Like seriously, after I got off our interview, I went in my workout room, grabbed the one kettlebell I have. It was 25 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilos or whatever. And I did a Turkish get up and I was like, y'all, it's so hard. Oh my gosh. I was sweating. I was shaking. So good. So good. Now, that's not to say fitness should always be hard, but challenging myself trying this new fitness modality has been really fun, and just showing yourself that you are strong and capable and building confidence through something such as simple as one little kettlebell can make a world of a difference. So a couple of things to know: always consult a professional before starting a new workout program, my friend. And just a little trigger warning, Colleen is going to talk a little bit about eating disorders at the beginning of our conversation. So make sure you stick around to the end. I will share our 3 biggest takeaways with our conversation all around kettlebells, building confidence, showing yourself that you are strong and capable with Colleen Conlon. Let's go. All right, gang. Thank you so much again for tuning in to Self Transformed. I am so excited about this conversation today. I am talking with Colleen Conlon. Colleen, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Emily. I'm really excited to be here.
Same. I'm so excited to talk about this. I geek out talking to any other type of fitness coach, so I'm so excited to talk to you. But Colleen, the first question I ask every guest is, what comes to mind when you hear the phrase self-transformed?
You know, what comes to my mind is a caterpillar and a butterfly. And that's all I have. That is all I have for you. I see the caterpillar and the butterfly, and just like hearing self-transformed, I think of myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Totally. I love it. And the reason I ask is because everyone has a different response as well, which is super fun. But we're all on a transformation journey, and just being okay with that change is sometimes the hard part. Getting there is the hard part. Thinking of that
Sure.
caterpillar getting to the butterfly stage, sometimes they don't make it there. They have to, keep trying and keep trying. So awesome. Well, let's get to know you a little bit better. Can you share a little bit more about who you are and what you do today? Maybe your own transformation story as far as what has led you to everything you do today.
I would love to share my story. So, first and foremost, I think it's really important for you to know that um, I used to feel super weak and incapable and limited. And the woman that I am today, I feel extremely strong and confident and limitless. And it's taken 30 years to get to this point, but we're here, and I can tell you exactly how it happened. But I want to tell you the story first. So, when I was in middle school, I had a best friend, and she took me into the bathroom one day and she said, "Colleen, everybody would like you so much better if you were skinny." And then she taught me how to make myself throw up with a toothbrush. So I struggled with an eating disorder starting in the 6th grade all the way up into college. And I used to wake up around 4 a.m. before school to run or spend time on the elliptical and then do a bunch of crunches. I used to cut class to do crunches in the bathroom. And by the time I got home, I would allow myself to eat, and I would typically, eat way too much food, and then I would purge it all in the bathroom later that day. And that's kind of what life was like for a long time. And I felt like a recluse, knowing that, this one person said people aren't going to like you unless you're small. And then I tried to do everything possible to make myself small. And I'll tell you, it didn't make me feel like people liked me more. If anything, I felt like everybody was judging me, and I didn't want to be around anyone because of it. And then I went off to college, and I went to college for musical theater, which is one of the most subjective industries in the world, the entertainment industry, right? And life felt like a competition. I had to compete against all of these girls in a very intensive program to stand out. Um, and I didn't like who I was. I didn't like how competitive I was. I didn't like how much focus was on these things that were not objective. I mean, being pretty, sounding good, being able to dance, they're all subjective things to judge. And that was really challenging. And I remember I graduated college, and I told my parents, like, thank you so much for helping me with my education. I don't want to pursue this anymore. And they were like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I have no idea. Um, and the guy that I was dating at the time happened to be a personal trainer. And he noticed that I spent a lot of time at the gym when I wasn't in school. He was like, well, why don't you get into group fitness? Like, it's kind of like a performance and you get to exercise. And, this is something that you're super used to doing. Leading up until this point, my mom happened to be a group fitness instructor. So I used to like take her classes from the day I could walk until the last time she taught. So I was really used to being in that space, aside from me doing my own workouts for years. And I'm enjoying it, but then I start to burn out. I get to the point where I'm teaching about 25 classes a day. And I'm just like, I don't know if I can sustain this anymore. So I start to get into personal training. And at this point, I'm still dating the same trainer, and I'm actually working at his gym. And I'm getting kind of frustrated training in the same space as him because he has all this extra knowledge that I didn't have. And it made me feel like, I'm not good enough again. So it's like, I don't want to be in the personal training space either. I'm burnt out with all these group fitness classes. Maybe I should manage a studio. That's where my head went to. So I found a job posting to manage a kettlebell studio in New York City. So I go to the interview, and Emily, I'll tell you, I don't know how I got this job because at the time I thought kettlebells were like dumbbells, but unless you know the world of kettlebells, you wouldn't know that there's styles of kettlebell training. And this was a hard style studio. And there's very specific things that you do with kettlebells if you are actually training in a specific style of kettlebell. So I get this job. I'm managing the studio, and I need to teach a class one day, right? And one of the other trainers watches me teaching this class, and he pulls me aside and he's like, Colleen, we all know you have no idea what you're doing. Please let me help you. And up until that point, I was the kind of person who didn't want anyone's help because I felt like I was being criticized and judged. But for some reason, I let this man help me. And in getting started with kettlebells, I really didn't understand how technical of a skill it was to do exercises like Turkish get-ups and swings and snatches. I remember like the first time I saw somebody do a kettlebell swing, I was like, yeah, I can do that. And I like picked up the video, and the person like called me out on all of the things they're like, well, no, actually you need to do X, Y, and Z as well. And in learning how to do these skills properly, it was really challenging. And there were times where I was like, why am I doing this? And I knew my why. My why was I'm managing the studio, and like if I'm going to stay here, I need to learn how to do this stuff so I can be a part of this. And by the time I learned all of these skills with like a basic knowledge, I started to feel really proud of myself because I stuck around. I did something that was challenging, and I didn't give up, and my confidence started to build from there. And that's something that I really want to highlight. It's in order to build up confidence, you want to put yourself in challenging situations, and you want to choose not to give up. You want to choose to keep taking a step forward, and it's not always going to be perfect. And one of the reasons why I think I excelled is because I had that trainer who was so kind, who was willing to help me and help me with where I was at that time. So I'm learning all these skills, and then I'm also noticing that I'm getting really strong, and you know, nothing really nothing really made sense to me in terms of being able to do these skills with certain size kettlebells because I was used to doing HIIT classes and bar classes and yoga classes and cycling classes. So to me, when I hear like 12 kilos, that didn't mean anything to me. I'm like, well, what is it in pounds?
What's it in pounds?
Right.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember like 3 months after I got started with kettlebells, this trainer was like, okay, go show me a pull-up. And I was like, what? I can't do that. Like, that's never been something I could do. And he was like, just try. And I tried and I got my first pull-up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am the most incredible person in the world. How did this happen? And he's like, well, you've been training your core, you've been training your lats, you've been training your grip strength. Like, it makes sense that at this point, this is a skill that is possible for you. And I was like, okay. So I continue to stick with it. And at this point, I'm, putting in more effort than I need to in terms of just like managing the studio. And I find myself at a progressive calisthenics certification. And I remember walking into this certification, Emily, and there's like 20 dudes. And I don't even know why I signed up for it. They were like teaching single arm push ups and handstands and pistol squats and
Oh,
like
goodness.
stuff that I was just like, I can't do any of this stuff. Why am I here? And they start to teach a skill called the human flag, which, if you have not heard of it, I want you to imagine somebody hanging from a pull-up bar. So if you're hanging from a pull-up bar, you're hanging vertically, right? So a human flag is where you're hanging from a bar horizontally.
Ah.
And somehow I get into this position and I'm able to hold the flag. And I was just in such awe of myself. And again, I asked, how am I able to do this? And it's the kettlebell. There's so many benefits to training this way because so much of the exercises we're doing are single sided. So the amount that your core has to work to stabilize is unlike anything else. In addition to, strengthening up your grip because you have to hang on to these kettlebells for all of these exercises in a very unique way. So it's been a journey, but from that point on, I was like, okay, I have to stick with these kettlebells. And I've been training with them now for 5 years. And in the past 5 years, I created a 6-figure virtual kettlebell business. I've written a book and I have 2 Guinness World Records, and they all have to do with kettlebells. I know it kind of sounds like the success I've had is because of the kettlebell, but I want to make it really clear that it's not because of the kettlebell. It's because I was willing to let that person help me. And I was willing to put myself in challenging situations, ask for help instead of giving up. And that's why I feel strong and capable and limitless today.
I love that story so much. I love how, like, sometimes a single conversation can kind of change like everything for you. And like you were willing to accept his help and how, generous and nice that was to be like, hey, let me help you versus just being like, oh my gosh, look what she doesn't know what she's quite doing yet. I mean, and that's just changed the whole trajectory for you. That is just so cool. And just thank you for being so open and honest and sharing that story. Because I think a lot of women can relate. I think a lot of times from a young age, we're taught something so differently as far as what healthy means. And we're always chasing after it. And I want women to realize, we don't need to chase skinny. We need to pursue being strong, like mentally, emotionally, and how something like kettlebell training can, like you said, make you feel capable, give you that physical strength to do things like, because I know pull-ups are hard and to be able to be like, oh my gosh, like that would probably make me like shocked as well now to be like, oh my gosh, look how far I've come in just like a few months and can do like a pull-up. That's amazing. It's amazing. That's what I love so much about fitness. It's not just the physical, it's more mental, emotional, sometimes even spiritual, sometimes at times for sure. Well, for the women listening, if they're thinking, okay, this is great. What is kettlebell training? How is this different from, just swinging around some dumbbells? I know you just mentioned, there's a lot of single-sided movements. There's a lot of core involved to help give you that stability, but can you explain it just a little bit more for someone listening that's
Absolutely.
not sure?
Totally. So I want to make it really clear that you can use a kettlebell the same way you would a dumbbell for the most part, but you can't necessarily use dumbbells the same way you would kettlebells for kettlebell specific types of training.
Mhm.
So there's three different types of kettlebell styles that I want to bring up. The first would be kettlebell sport, which is where people are going to be doing an exercise like a snatch or like a clean and jerk, where their goal is to keep the kettlebell moving for a very long period of time. These athletes will compete in kettlebell sport where they're trying to do the same lift nonstop for 10 minutes before ever setting the weight down on the ground. It's like we really think of this as an endurance sport within the world of kettlebells. And then you have people who you might see them like flowing with kettlebells, or you might see them juggling kettlebells. Um, and I think people really choose to do that because there's something fun and like magical with seeing what can you do with this weight, and it's kind of dancey. And for anybody who has a background in dance, myself included, I think it's a really fun way to flirt with weight. And then there's hardstyle, and hardstyle kettlebell technique is what I do. And that is where our focus is to bring a lot of attention and awareness to tension and breath to lift something relatively heavy for few reps.
Mm. Do you know what's in your energy drink? After coaching over 1,000+ classes, I've seen so many folks drinking so many different energy drinks. So after a workout, I personally love reaching for a Fit Aid Energy. I keep my fridge stocked because my oldest son and my husband love them to fuel their workouts too. So unlike many other energy drinks, Fit Aid Energy maximizes your athletic performance by focusing on both training and recovery. Now, what I love the most is that Fit Aid is 100% naturally sweetened with no gut-killing aspartame, sucralose, and is packed with BCAAs, glucosamine, electrolytes, turmeric, omega-3s, and vitamins B, C, D3, and E. Fit Aid Energy is boosted also with 200 milligrams of clean caffeine from green tea, never the synthetic kind, so I never get that jittery feeling. And plus, it's only 15 calories per can. Love it. So there are 4 delicious flavors available. There's mango sorbet, blackberry pineapple, raspberry hibiscus, and peach mandarin. So my friends, as a listener of the podcast, you get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order of 24 cans of Fit Aid Energy at drinkfitaid.com/habithack. That is drinkfitaid.com/habithack. Go grab yourself some Fit Aid Energy and fuel both your training and recovery. Let's get back to the show. I love that so much. I'm like sitting here taking mental notes, like, okay, which one would I like to do? What do you hold a Guinness record for? I want to know.
For Turkish get-ups.
So, what was your record for Turkish get ups? Like,
So I set the world record and I did 122 reps in an hour with 16 kilos. And then I broke it doing 188 reps in an hour with 16 kilos.
oh my goodness, with Turkish get ups. Oh my gosh. Woo! That's awesome. That's amazing. That's so cool. That's so, so cool. Well, I want to kind of dig deeper into, overcoming our self-limiting beliefs a little bit with you, because I know this is a topic near and dear to your heart as well. So many times women listening, we're afraid to pick up heavier weights. We're afraid to lift heavy because we have this overcomplicated, confusing, overwhelming view of health as doing tons of hit workouts. I mean, I coach at Orange Day. I think hit workouts are great. There's a time and place for it, but lifting heavy can make you just feel, like you said, strong and capable. But how is that related in life? Just even more digging deeper into that with you, Colleen, as far as overcoming self-beliefs, and how can someone think of this as a way to help them do that too?
Sure. I mean, I think one of the really cool, I actually had a client, I was talking to one of my clients last night, and she She has a super stressful corporate job, and sometimes she feels like, the weight of the world. I mean, like all of us, the weight of the world is just like pouring down on us, right? And she was like, "Oh my gosh, Colleen, I can feel it in my bones that I'm ready to go up in weight with the Turkish get up because the weight that I just did, it's like I lifted the weight of the world up off of my shoulders, and it was this like magical woo woo moment." And she's like, "And I'm not woo woo whatsoever." Um, but it's almost like when you're lifting these heavy weights off of the ground. I mean, this doesn't even need to be with kettlebells. It could be with
Sure.
dumbbells, it can be with a barbell, it can be lifting anything heavy. Um, there's a very empowering feeling to know like I did that. I was able to move that heavy thing. I'm capable of making all of the challenging and hard things that are pouring down on me evaporate and leave me. I can do that. Um, I think there's a lot of carryover between lifting heavy things and then being able to get yourself out of these heavy situations in our day-to-day life. And it's literally just bouncing back and forth between like doing it physically versus doing it, I mean, you can still do that physically in a different way without the actual weights, but also emotionally.
Yeah. I love that analogy so much. I got chills when you said that because I know what she means. Like when you've been able to go up and weight on something, maybe you've been stuck at a certain exercise or a certain weight at that exercise. And when you go up and you're like, man, I handled that for 3 rounds of 10. And it was like, wow, I did that. Then it kind of makes you think, well, what else can I do? Like, what's my next goal? How can I go up to weight next time? How long is it going to take me to get there now? And I feel like we talk a lot about like something called the positivity snowball. It's something we talk about in our world, like where something like that can just snowball into other things. Like, okay, like what else can I do? How can I lift even heavier? Or I'll say, you're picking up that, oh shoot, weight, like, oh my gosh, this is scary. This is intimidating, but oh my gosh, I'm going to get uncomfortable and, you know, show myself that I can do it. Like prove it to yourself.
Exactly. And I think, when we do that, we then want to take on more things within the world. Like it was because I did that record that I was like, now I'm ready to write my book. I can do this.
Mm.
I have a voice in this space and I have a story to tell. And I have I want to share that with women.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Well, we're all about habits here. We talk about basic health, what that looks like, pick one area to focus in, start stacking new habits in over time. For someone listening and they're thinking, okay, how could I make kettlebell training a habit? Would you say this is more something you can do at home or maybe find like a local gym that has kettlebells and go and train there? Obviously, we could get your online program to help us train and to do it correctly and safely as well. But can you kind of think of a way, think of how we would express this to our audience as far as how to make this a habit in your life, actual kettlebell training.
If you wanted to do that, I mean, I wish I could say like there's a really the simplest thing I could say is go get a copy of my book or
Mhm.
go get a copy of um Pavel's Enter the Russian Kettlebell book. There's not a lot of kettlebell books out there, especially geared towards beginners and beginners with hardstyle, and mine happens to be geared towards women. I would say that would be the first step, and just start reading and seeing if this is something that you actually want to experience. Again, anybody can pick up a kettlebell in the gym and use it the same way as a dumbbell, but in order to learn how to do an actual style, you really do need a coach for that. And that's something that I can't necessarily say like
Sure.
just start the habit. You need to find the coach for that. But one habit, this is something that I share with all of my athletes, and I practice this, and I think it's something really important for everyone, especially us women who are trying to, achieve bigger and better things because we know we deserve that, is every single day identifying one win. And there's never a win that's too big or too small. But anytime that you do something, you're like, I did it. That was my win. That feels good. That's something that you need to identify to yourself to make sure you are wiring positivity coming into your brain and letting it sink into your heart.
we don't celebrate ourselves enough, do we? Like, we don't say, like, I'm so proud of myself. Like, we'll say it to like our partner, our kids, like, I'm so proud of you. And like, be proud of yourself. Like, actually say it out loud. Like, find that one good thing that happened today and be like, I'm really proud of myself.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
sounds so simple, but that's it. I mean, so many things that can lead to incredible things. They are simple, but a lot of times we overlook it because of the simplicity. So that is something
Mhm.
that is worth, starting to do right now. What's one win you've had so far today?
I love that. I'm already thinking about what's a win I've had today now too.
What is a win you've had today, Emily?
What is a big win I've had? Well, I had a big project I had to get done and I got it done. Like, I turned off all notifications. I set a timer. I was like, I have to get it done because I had to go pick up my oldest son and take him to golf conditioning. So I was like, I have to have it done by this time. And I got it done. I mean,
That's
sometimes
amazing.
yeah, sometimes, you find yourself procrastinating, you want to get things done and, got to walk the walk and talk the talk too at the same time. Like, hey, this is a habit we need to practice every day too. What's a good thing that's happened for you today?
I think my win today is having everybody walking out of their sessions with a smile on their face.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, getting started sometimes is the hardest part about wanting to take on a new form of fitness. Where would you say people would start? So I'm gonna go get your book like after we're done talking because, like I said, I'm seriously like I need to like learn a little bit more about kettlebell training. But where would someone start?
Somebody would start. I mean, the book is really a good place. Uh, or coming to my page and
Mhm,
seeing what hardstyle is all
mhm,
about.
mhm,
Um, or searching on Instagram for hardstyle kettlebell technique. Um, and then from there, you need to find a coach and um, coaches who are skilled with kettlebells and have a background in kettlebells. Most likely, they're going to like talk about that, or it will be like wherever it is you're finding them, like that will be a highlight.
mm,
That's not gonna like there's plenty of people who know like a little bit with kettlebells, but if you're really trying to get started with it, you want to find somebody who has a background in kettlebells, and most likely they will talk about their certifications and having to pass like physical tests and
mm.
exams in order to coach this stuff.
Well, just someone that has such a specialization in that, and they're going to help coach you to be safe and effective too when you're doing kettlebell training too. So, Colleen, I have loved this conversation so much with you. I hope everyone feels strong and capable. Where can everyone find you online to connect with you?
Great place to find me is on Instagram. My handle is I am Colleen Conlon, or you can find me on my website, which is www.colleenconlon.com.
Super. And we'll make sure to link all of this in the show notes for everybody as well so they can come find you easily. So, Colleen, thank you so much again for this conversation. I've loved chatting with you.
Thank you for having me.
Colleen, thank you so very much for this conversation. I hope, my friend, my dear listener, after listening to this, that you maybe want to go pick up a kettlebell and try something new. Kind of like Colleen mentioned, though, make sure you are working with someone to make sure you are being safe, it's being an effective workout for you. And like I said, I have just been loving it lately. All right, let's talk about our three big takeaways from this conversation with Colleen Conlon. Number one, put yourself in challenging positions to build confidence. So you are not weak. You are capable. You can be confident. And sometimes we have to look for unique ways to prove that to ourselves as women. Right? We have to look for unique ways. Maybe you have been lifting at the gym or going to Orange Theory classes. Maybe you need to incorporate something a little new, like swinging around some kettlebells. Again, safely and effectively. Work with someone like Colleen, who is a professional and specializes in this. And even thinking about outside of the box, too. What other type of challenging positions could you put yourself in to build confidence? Maybe it is like talking to strangers. Whoa, sometimes that's super uncomfortable, but the more you do it, like more than likely you're going to put a smile on someone's face. And if they're like rude to you, then it's over time, you're just like, whatever, I'm confident in myself, right? That can be a challenging thing you can do to build confidence as well. Number 2, I want you to think differently about strength training. What I love so much about kettlebell training, which Colleen brought up, is it's unilateral work, meaning one side of the body at a time, right? Usually you can hold, when I do my kettlebell swings, I'm obviously holding on in the center onto the handle with both hands, but usually it's one side of the body. So that means a lot of extra core stabilizer muscles are activated, right? Your grip strength is improving. I know I personally needed help with that. And I think that is such a missed opportunity for so many of us. I still love doing HIIT workouts. Like, girl, when I started my transformation back in 2015, I did the Whole 30 and I was doing Insanity Max 30 with Shaun T. That is like one of my soulmate workouts. I love it because it's fun. I love his motivation. I love the workout, but and actually picking up some weights has been a big game changer for me over the years as well, especially this year as I'm digging really deep into it as well. And, there's so many different styles to kettlebell training, which I think is super cool. But I think what was really, hit me when Colleen said it wasn't just the kettlebell, it was the journey, right? It was what circumstances led up to that, and it really just started with the conversation. So again, putting yourself in an uncomfortable position and thinking about strength training differently. And then lastly, your third biggest takeaway, I love this so much. I get chills just thinking about it now too. Lifting the weight of the world. You're lifting off the weight of the world off your shoulders. I love that analogy. How empowering is that, right? If you've never lifted weights, my friend, like she mentioned, once you're able to, conquer a certain weight, even if it's just 10, 15 pounds, once you move up into that next weight, once you've built enough strength, which, my friend, doesn't happen overnight. It does take a lot of consistency in order to build up that strength, to get stronger and go up that next weight and whatever exercise or modality you're doing. You can literally lift the weight of the world off of your shoulders too. Oh, I love that analogy so much. And one of the ways you can really do this, get a little stronger and celebrate yourself. I love how she mentioned identifying the small wins, something so simple. And this is something we really overwork. We're always overcomplicating health and thinking of these huge, grandiose goals, but why can't we just celebrate the small wins, right? Sometimes for me, that's like listening to my body and taking a rest day. That means sometimes, prioritizing, getting my workout in earlier in the day because I know it's not going to happen later in the day because as usual, we as women have to do habits differently. So my friend, you are capable. You are strong. I hope you see weight training in a different way, strength training, and feel confident to go out and try something new like a kettlebell modality exercise, for example. Again, always consult a professional before getting started. Make sure you're doing it safe and effectively. I am obsessed. I love it so much. Colleen, thank you so much for coming on the show. Gang, I hope you are able to connect with Colleen as well. If this is something you're interested in pursuing, I'll make sure to link everything in the show notes for you as well. Don't forget about that workshop this Wednesday. Sign up before the 29th. That way you can get it for $5 versus later. If you're like, man, I really wanted to do that money saving meal prep workshop, because then after the 29th, it'll be $17. So everything's linked in the show notes that I referenced for you today, my friends. You are capable. You are strong. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this episode. I'll see you later this week for Habit Hack Thursday. Hey girl, real quick before you go, if you want some free motivation texted to you every week to help you habit hack your health, send me your favorite emoji to 773-904-2157 to sign up for my weekly pump-up text. I can't wait to catch up with you there. And if you have any quick questions for me or feedback, it's me on the other end. So text me back, friend. And if you love the show, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way more mamas can find the show. Tag me in your Instagram stories at EmilyNichols22 what you love about the show. Show me your review so I can shout you out. Love and appreciate you, friend. I'll see you next time.